Welcome. Your station for the Southcoast.
Look, I know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
Spooky Southcoast. Tim Weisberg here, along with science advisor Matt Moniz. Helps if I talk directly into the microphone. I seem to have that problem quite a bit.
It happens to you every now and then.
Well, it's funny because it actually moves, so I can kind of position it where I need to ahead of time. I'm talking to everybody here in the studio, so I move it this way out of habit, and then when it comes time to start the show, I have to go over this way. I like this. I like this monitor here. And for those of you who are watching on Spooky TV at SpookySouthcoast.com, I've been complaining for weeks because I can't see what's going on in the chat room during the show. So I have to depend on Moniz, who, is supposed to be over there, like, telling me when there's a question and saying, hey, we have a question from the chat room. Steph, you know what I'm talking about. And instead, he just gets into little side conversations over there, and I'm left over here in the dark, over on my phone, trying to be like, anybody got any questions? Because I got nothing here. So now I can see them, and we'll figure it out as we go along.
Most of the questions they have, you can't ask on the air.
That's true, too. That's true. When I do log in on my phone and I look, and I'm like, oh, can't say that. So if you do want to get involved in the show and be interactive with the program, then Spooky TV is the place to do it. And, of course, it's also the home of Spirit Connections, Tuesday nights, now at 7 o'clock. And that is, hey, look at the phones ringing already. That is the internet home of Spirit Connections, but it also can be seen on Wareham Community Access Television as well. And you just made the move from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock recently.
We did.
And,
yes.
of course, we're talking with Tiffany Rice and Stephanie Burke, Spirit Mediums and the hosts of Spirit Connections. And how's that change working for you guys?
It's going... Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's going to happen all night.
I know. It's going very well. Very well.
And are you happy with, getting out of there and driving home? Because I know you got a bit of a ride.
I have about an hour ride, so it's nice to actually be able to get home at a decent hour. And
the good thing about 7 o'clock is that's the prime time for cable access. That's when all the good shows are on. That's when, except for, 30-odd minutes, that comes on at 8 o'clock. So people are willing to stay a little bit longer. But this way here, you're not up against, the X Factor, whatever else is on Tuesday nights. I don't know, because I don't really get to
never
watch
TV anymore anyways.
I was always watching 30-odd minutes in Spirit Connection, so I don't know what's on broadcast.
Right, that's all we watch is internet.
Right.
That's all.
It's the future. And it's working for us tonight. So let's keep our fingers crossed, because so far everything's going well. But we are going to talk with Tiffany and Stephanie tonight about their work. We're going to talk to them about how they utilize their abilities on investigations, which they've been doing a lot of lately. And we'll also talk with them about our upcoming Legend Trips events, which we're very excited that the first one is this Friday. I can't believe it's this Friday.
I can't believe it either.
Yeah, it came up quick.
Kind of not ready.
'Tis the season.
But that's all right.
We're ready. Just go with the flow.
We'll be able to fake our way through it.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly, because we've done enough of these that we kind of know what we're doing. But we've never been to Fort Tabor before, which I'm very excited about.
I've never been there. Steph, you have, right?
I'm a New Bedford native. I'm born and raised, so I've been going since I was a small child, and some interesting experiences there without even really checking it out. I've never been inside, though. I've only been outside.
They only open it up a couple times a year, so it's really hard to get inside. But a little bit later on, I'll ask you about some of your impressions that you've gotten from there. But in case anybody wants to buy tickets, they are still available. We have some remaining. If you go to legendtrips.com, or if you go right to the SpookySouthcoast.com, you'll see the slide there as well. The tickets are $99. But you can't go wrong. You're getting dinner, you're getting lectures, you're getting hours of investigation, and you're getting access to places that you wouldn't normally get going to Fort Tabor. I mean, you can go there, you can take a tour, you can go to the military museum, and I highly recommend that everybody does that, even if they can't get out to this Legend Trips event. But we're going to have unprecedented access that night. They've never brought this many people through to this type of event. We've had a few groups that have investigated for paranormal activity. They've come back with some interesting stuff. This is going to be are Legend Trips people, which includes people such as yourselves with abilities, seasoned paranormal investigators, first-time paranormal investigators. It's such a confluence of different types of personalities and different types of energies that are all going to be present, that who knows what's going to happen.
You never know.
I'm just a little bit worried about the security of the whole thing. We're going to be walking around, treasure hunt in the dark. Bring plenty of extra batteries, because we're going to be going into some deep, dark holes, and you're going to want to make sure that your flashlights are working at full power.
What's the attire? What would you recommend?
I'm wearing a Speedo.
Oh, okay.
And I'm bringing like a towel with a hood on it, because there's a beach right there, and I'm figuring October.
What about I know you mentioned you had a mesh tank. I didn't know if you were going to be wearing that or not.
I wouldn't want to ruin that at the beach.
Oh,
that's my club gear.
Well, you could always, if it's a little chilly, just wear a pair of leggings, because I know you said that.
That's true. Every week I say that on the show. I'm like, oh, Tiffany's wearing. I try to pick a different thing that you wore. Tiffany's wearing my boots today.
Yeah, so you can just go. You know what? The three of us can dress alike that night.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a sweatshirt. That's for sure. I highly recommend that you bring a sweatshirt. Wear warm clothing. Wear boots, because I'm sure some of these batteries that we're going to be going into have a little bit of water building up on them, and we're going to be doing a lot of walking too. So at least make sure that it's comfortable footwear. And if you're, so inclined, we'll have double XL spooky Southcoast shirts, because that's all we have left for sale, and that might help keep you warm too.
That's great.
It's another layer that you can put on. They'll be for sale, $20. But so it's $99 for your ticket, and then of course people can purchase for an extra $30 a 20-minute one-on-one personal reading with one of the two of you. You'll both be there, and that all has to be purchased in advance, by the way, if you can, because we have very limited number of slots available. I think it's 6 spots for each of you.
Right.
Is all we can accommodate in that time period. So naturally, of course, if anybody is there and they don't have the opportunity to book ahead of time and they really want a reading, we'll try to make some arrangements. But of course, they can always contact you at each of your locations, and we'll talk about those later on. But please, if you do want to have a reading, book it in advance. And you can't book it until after you've already purchased your ticket, because we just want to make sure that it's only people that are going to the event that get this opportunity. It's $30 for a 20-minute reading, which is a phenomenal deal. And I just remember we did this for the first time at Slater Mill. And Steph, you were there as an attendee. You weren't doing the readings, but Pam and Tiffany were. And I don't know if you were noticing, but I was certainly noticing all the people as they were coming out and just the looks on their faces. And
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the aha moment. That's what I like to call it.
And we're talking hardcore skeptics, some of these people who are like, you know what? I'm going to spend $30 to get this reading just because I don't believe in it. And because the Spooky Southcoast guys talk about their abilities, and hopefully they trust us and they know that, we wouldn't recommend you if you weren't the real deal. So they would, pay their $30, go in there and have a reading, and just come out and be like shaking their head saying, wow, I really am impressed. And I think it's different what you do too, because you are providing a spirit medium service. And I know, Steph, you differ a little bit in your abilities from Tiffany, but in this regard, we're helping people connect with those who have passed on. We're passing on messages to them. And also, the other advantage is you guys are doing the readings, but then you're sticking around for the investigations afterward.
The fun part.
Yeah, the fun part.
So not only are you making connections for the loved ones that are around these people, but you're also hopefully picking things up from the investigation itself. And it's fascinating to me that you can go from one to the other so easily, because it's got to be pretty intense giving people a one-on-one reading like that.
It is.
It is. It can be mentally exhausting, but at the same time, spirits are spirits. And when we open the door, when we do a regular walkthrough, say at someone's house or maybe a historical location, we always let the people know, just a reminder, it may be also your loved one that might come through as well. So we have no control for who decides to communicate or for how long they decide to stay and communicate with us. So you're really opening up the door. But I know Steph and I both work in a love and light situation, so we don't, when I say open up the door, we rarely deal with anything dark or evil, so to speak.
No, we don't communicate with it. We just get rid of it.
Right.
It's kind of like implied almost that, you're not welcome here type of thing.
Absolutely.
We set our intentions.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we don't deal with negative or anything like that. But I tell people a lot of time, it's almost the equivalent of what we are is equal to turning a flashlight on in a dark room. So it's almost the minute that we turn it on, they know, and they just come and gather. So doing readings in a haunted location is always interesting because we're going to try to communicate with their loved ones, but we're going to have a whole lot of people waiting for the investigation afterwards. So it should prove to be pretty interesting.
I'm glad that you used the flashlight analogy, because when we're at Fort Tabor this coming Friday, and if we run into any crackheads, I'm going to beat them over the head with one of you, just as I would my mag light.
Good.
That's fine.
Good. You should.
So,
you should.
You're both pretty easy to just
I was going to
pick
say, we
up
can
and-
practice after the show,
Yeah.
just to, get a feel for how it's
No,
going.
everything's going to be safe out there. You don't have anything to worry about. But I know that I have a problem, for example, going on private investigations. I don't really do them. Moniz, Andy, we have DART, Whaling City Ghost, so many groups that we can work with and people that we trust to go out there and do private investigations that are referred to us. I don't like to go into people's homes because I'm not comfortable. I have a tough time doing my job as a journalist and sticking a microphone, a tape recorder in people's faces and saying, tell me about this tragedy that just happened. Tell me about this person that died and what your thoughts are. It's just not in my makeup to be, consoling for people in that regard. I'm too stonewalled about it. So it must be really hard for you, because not only are you getting involved in people's personal business, but you're getting involved almost into aspects of themselves that they might not even know about themselves.
Yeah, it can get pretty intense sometimes. I think, for lack of a better word, intense is a pretty good one. Do you agree?
It does, because there is no filter. There's no beating around the bush
and
when
what
it
we
comes
get
to
is what we
reading.
get. I mean, we say exactly what comes to us, so we don't ever tell anything bad. Spirit doesn't tell us anything bad. A lot of the times, I think the most common question is, well, I don't want to know if I'm going to die, or I don't want any bad news. Spirit doesn't tell us that.
Mm-hmm.
They tell us what they need, like what the person that we're reading needs to hear. And more recently, I think we've been staying at locations long enough where their personal messages start coming through, and sometimes they react in a way where they're okay with it or they don't really want to hear it, and then other people are absolutely hysterical. And at that point, we ask, like, do you want us to continue? Would you like us to stop? And it's always continue, because it's a good hysterical. But at the time that happens, you almost freeze and don't know what to do, because in your logical mind, you're thinking, is this person uncomfortable? What's going on? You're reading their facial expressions and you're thinking, oh my God, did I do something wrong? But, with your intuition and everything else, it's all good, and it's all for their
Highest and greatest good.
Well, you mentioned that you don't ever have anything bad come through, but sometimes maybe the message that has to go through would be something bad.
It's always information that you need to know, not necessarily that you want to know.
Mm-hmm. So
they may not be receptive to the information that we're telling them because they don't want to hear it. Instead of, of course, most of the people that sit down in front of us, they want to know that their loved ones are okay and that they love them and that they miss them. And I always say that's an understatement. They're always going to be around.
That's the number one message, I think.
Exactly. Always going to be around. They're always going to love you. They're always going to miss you. But sometimes it's either just, whether it's messages or validations, sometimes it could be a conversation that they just want to have, like that next conversation that they didn't get to have. That's very common as well.
Right.
So it really just depends on exactly what the spirit wants to, well, I don't want to say the spirit, but with the information that we're getting, it's usually what the person that passed wants to tell them, because they want to address the issue that's current.
Right, and they tend to deal with what the person's going through specifically at that time. Like if someone's in a really dark place, not doing so well, things like that, what Spirit's going to come through and say is going to be uplifting and, kind of, get yourself on the right path and things like that. And that might not be what that person wants to hear.
Mm-hmm.
They might enjoy being in that dark place at that time, and that might be something that someone would take as a negative thing that we're saying, where it's not. It's just that Spirit's trying to help them. But I think that's probably the worst.
Yeah, sometimes people kind of want to wallow in that because they feel like they deserve it for some reason. Or and we have some calls already lined up here, but if you want to call in with any of your questions, 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. We're talking with spirit mediums Tiffany Rice and Stephanie Burke. And here's the thing, though. I know the phones always light up when we have you guys in. We want to express to people that we did say that we would be doing some mini readings, but we're going to do them in the second hour of the program later on in the show. So if that's why you're calling, then you can go ahead and hang up, and we won't fault you for it. You can call back in the next hour. But if you have some questions about the abilities of these women and how they put them to use, we're going to talk with them about how they utilize them on paranormal investigations. I think line 3, I said we're not doing the readings right now. Just to be clear, just so you know.
3 is my favorite number.
But,
Side note.
But that's the important thing to know. We will be doing the readings later on, and then this hour I really want to get into some of the, because we talk all the time, but we don't really have a chance to get into the meat and potatoes of what it is that you do. I mean, I just kind of accept at face value that you do what you do,
right.
And I know that other people have come back to me and had readings from you and said, phenomenal stuff that came through. We have people in the chat room that are talking about it right now. Somebody in there mentioned something about a blue tile that you had told them.
Oh, yeah.
And they found it.
Yep. Yay.
So that's, this is the type of stuff that I hear about you guys all the time. Mm-hmm. And, of course, now that Spirit Connections is on and I live in town, I live in Wareham, so people come up to me and say, hey, you know those people, right? I say, yeah, I know. You know that whole spooky TV thing? Yeah. Try watching on Saturday nights for a change, too.
Yeah.
But what can we say? We're not as as vivacious as you guys. We're not as energetic as you guys. So we tend to put people to sleep. So they listen to the first 10 minutes of the show on Spooky TV, and then they're out. As with you guys, that's 7 o'clock. They have a little bit more of a chance of surviving it. I don't know why I'm looking at you.
I don't know why you're looking at me either.
I think it's because every time
beautiful women sitting in front of you, and you rather look at me.
Well, it's because I'm also trying to look in the chat room now that I got this shiny new monitor. Amazing what $2 can get you at a yard sale, huh?
It's very
That's
nice.
awesome.
It's such,
very
and it
nice.
lets you guys, hopefully you can kind of see a little bit of it too as we
Oh, I like it.
go on tonight. And so why don't we take these calls and see if they have some
Okay.
questions for you? Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
What? You hear me?
Hi. Yeah.
Hi, I'm wondering, I watched the show the other night, and they had an EVP specialist, right? And he said he was down in the basement,
Okay.
and something about murder, right? Are you guys going to be, stationed in the basement down there where the murderer is?
Of which location?
The Fearing Tavern?
Oh yeah, the Fearing Tavern. Sure. Yeah, we'll definitely be taking people into the basement there. That's one of the coolest parts of the entire house.
Okay.
And some of the energy that we've had come through there is sort of dark.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, because the guy that was really good at getting the EVP seemed to think he was haunted, and I'm a little worried about getting haunted.
Well, I can tell you that I've investigated in there numerous times, and I've never had anything bad happen as a result. And there's one particularly nasty entity that's following me, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, from one location to another. I don't want to get all Ryan Buell on everybody here, but there is something that came through there and spoke with me that didn't belong there. But we really had no issues. I mean, it's just a place where you're touching history.
What did it say to you?
Well, it told me that it's the negative entity that lives at Lizzie Borden's, the one that I always have encounters with.
Probably brought it with you. Then it's not the place.
No, I don't think it's the place. I think it just knew that it had that chance to reach out and send a shiver down my spine, so it did.
All right. So my thing is just a little meditation about the white light before we head down.
Absolutely, and
There you
Tiffany
go.
and Stephanie will be there.
Yep.
They can help you. That's at our Haunted History Night event in Wareham on
Yes.
October 20th.
Yes.
So you've already purchased a ticket?
Yeah, I was right on it. What's for dinner?
Actually, we pretty much made the switch to pizza and salad at all of our events now because everybody seems to like it, and it's quick and it's easy. And then we get dinner out of the way, and we can get right into the event itself.
All right. Well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. Look forward to hanging out with you.
All right. Thanks.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
night. All right, so that's the Haunted History Night at the Fearing Tavern in Wareham. That's October 20th. So that's the Saturday after this coming event at Fort Tabor. So you have a chance to hang out with us 2 weekends in a row.
'Tis the season.
I mean, nobody wants to hang out with us 2 weeks in a row, but we're giving them 2 awesome locations to investigate. So it kind of makes up for the fact that you got to hang out with me and Moniz and Andy and Jeff, and they don't mind hanging out with you guys. So it's us.
It'll be a good night.
I
We'll bring you
pro-
down to the basement. No fear. No fear.
I promise that there will be at least one shower for each one of us guys between Friday night and Saturday night. Because October 20th is a Saturday, and that's when we have our baths.
It's your weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't Saturday. All right, let's take the next call here. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Tiffany Rice and Stephanie Burke. How you doing? Oh, I should turn the thing back up. Hi, how are you? Caller?
Collect a call from heaven.
I think it's just somebody waiting for a reading, which again, second hour. So if you have any questions that you want to call in with before then, 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. I know that both of you had investigated for the paranormal in different facets before. And of course, I know that you were working with spies. That's how I first met you.
Right.
And I know that you work closely with Linda Lynch and Vale's Edge. And now I know that you're doing a lot of work together on investigations. And I've heard stories from people that you've worked with about bringing your abilities to those investigations separately. And I've heard some stories about how they work together. And I think it went from being like a factor of 10 to being like a factor of 15 on a scale of 1 to 10 with the two of you together. How's it working out for you two, personally?
I love it.
Yeah, exactly. We get along very well as far as, because we're so like-minded. We're pretty much one of the same person.
Yeah, it's funny because people don't even realize it that we're actually 10 years apart. And
you don't have to bring that up.
I didn't say.
So you know who's on which end of that scale now.
Yeah, no, you gave it away. Okay, you gave it away. We'll leave it up to people at home. But people don't realize that they think we're the same age, and somewhere met in the middle between our ages. And the great thing I think about working together is we work well on our own. I know sometimes we'll go with different people, and she'll go upstairs, I'll go downstairs, and then switch, and then we'll meet in the middle and we'll talk about things afterwards. And the things that we hit on are usually exactly the same, and we have no idea that each other's saying it. Sometimes we'll go in locations like I'll be outside and she'll be inside, and vice versa. But working with certain people that we've already proven our abilities to, they allow us to go in together. And the part that I like is the way that I connect is completely different from the way that Tiffany connects. How she receives her messages is completely different from how I do. So we almost complement each other when we are together.
Well, let's kind of talk about what those differences are then.
Okay. The way that I've always been able to connect is I can see spirit physically in front of me. So if there is an energy there, I can see them out in front of me. Like I would see you, Matt, Tiffany. I mean, obviously they're a little bit transparent, but I can see them in front of me. I can hear them. I can see them in my third eye, my mind's eye. And the way that I receive messages is almost like having a conversation per se, or I'll see different images of certain things that will make me lead into a conversation. And I'll let you explain yours.
We're pretty much, I know you said that we're different, but we pretty much are the same. The only thing that's a little bit different is that where Steph can actually see someone right in front of her, I just have a sense. So I don't see them physically. For instance, we'll go to a location and I'll go right into a room to
I know what
just
you're
go
talking about.
right into a room and say, okay, this is the feeling that I'm getting, and this is who's here, blah, blah, blah. And she'll stay far away, and she's like, you don't see him? He came right for you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Where?
We were at a private home in Wareham, actually, with Matt, and Andy Lake was there. And I stood in the doorway, and all I saw was this big, angry man in a group of people, and he just turned around and, fired right toward the doorway where I was standing. I screamed, jumped, turned around, almost ran Andy over, and she's just charging in the room like there's not an issue. I'm going, you don't see him? You don't see him? She's like, no. And that's just where we differ, where I'm running out of the room because I know exactly what he wants. I can see him already, and she's just walking right through him. Like it's no big
I
deal.
go right through, but yet I'll be in the room and I'll say, okay, there's the group of people, because it's almost if I said, Tim, what did you wear yesterday? You would have a memory and you'd be able to recall it because there would be a picture in your mind. That's how it comes to me. So it's almost like working off of someone else's memory.
So now the question that I have then, it seems from the way that you're describing it is that's the way that it's kind of always been for you. Is it possible that your abilities change, that they, I don't want to say develop because, obviously it's a muscle that you're constantly exercising, but is it possible that there is a variance in it at some point that you may start to see things the way that Steph does, or she may start to just pick things up on a sense?
Absolutely. Because like you said, we're constantly honing in on our skills. So there very well be, I can remember when I first started to practice this and I could only see things in my mind's eye. Now I can hear it. So once you continue to do and practice,
it's kind of like practicing a musical instrument. The more you do it, the better you get. So I've had this ability my whole life. I don't know how to be any other way. So when I finally stopped running from it and decided to embrace it, I just went on what would come to me at certain times. So I had to actually sit there and say, I need to control this, because I can feel things, I can feel energies, I'm really sensitive to them, I'm empathic, and that was kind of getting in my way of everyday life. I couldn't go to certain places without feeling like throwing up or over emotional. And
Moni's house, but that's not anything to do with your abilities.
No.
Just has to do with his housekeeping skills.
Oh, he keeps his house pretty clean.
I'm just messing with him. I haven't picked on him yet, so.
But I had to kind of control things or learn what I was actually capable of rather than just doing it. So my abilities have changed, especially over the past 5 years from doing this. And I know you're the same way. And the more that we hang out with each other, the more things get interesting, because I'll pick up on her energy right away. She'll pick up on mine, or we'll say things at the exact same time because we're picking up on things at the exact same time. So the stronger that two people work together and their energies link, the stronger it gets.
But then, is it possible that sometimes you're picking up what she's picking up? You know what I mean? It's not that you're picking up the same information in different fashion, but maybe you're just tuned into her filtering in that information. You know what I mean?
While we're at the same location.
Is it kind of like sometimes you both got two pairs of headphones plugged into the same iPod?
I try to shut myself off when she's doing her thing, because I know that I can easily pick up on exactly what she's thinking. That's one thing that I've always been able to do. If I get too close to someone, I can tell you exactly what you're thinking right at that time, or I'll say something the exact same time you're saying it, whether or not it's someone I'm close to or not. So I have to actually kind of push myself away from it in order to make it more believable for myself, because I don't want to feel like I was picking up on what she was doing.
Well, right, we have to set our boundaries.
Yeah.
That kind of leads in right to a question from the chat room, and the question was whether or not you ever second guess yourselves and what's coming through. I mean, I am sure at first, especially when you're first starting to develop this, and I know, Steph, with you it was kind of an always type of thing, but there still must have been moments when you're thinking to yourself, whoa, wait a minute here, and you've kind of thought twice about maybe your own bias that you're putting into what's coming through.
Everybody has self-doubt. Everyone.
Self-doubt.
And when you're reading a specific person and they're sitting there saying, no, or they can't think of something right away, absolutely your logical mind goes right into it, and you think, oh no, I'm wrong. What am I doing? Am I not connecting? And it's everybody's human. That's the way I can describe it.
And you have to learn to trust your gut. And
right.
Even today, I was doing a reading and I caught myself and I said, you know what? This is just Tiff's take on things. Let me just tell you what Spirit is telling me to tell you, and then you take that information, because it's not my life, it's your life. So I do tend to catch myself if I start to say, leading into something that it may not. It's difficult, but we're human. We're human
because we
first.
want to interpret what we're getting too. But the best way that I've had to relay it to someone is I get puzzle pieces. It's up to you to put the pieces together for me, because if I put them together for you, my mind's going to put it together a different way. Like one time I was giving a reading and all I could see was like the snack goldfish swimming about in my head. Why in the world would I think about snack goldfish? But I told the guy, listen, I don't know what this means. I just have to say it to you because it's not going away. And I'm thinking, like, am I hungry? Like, what's going on? And he actually started crying and said, actually, you're connecting with my grandfather. And every year we went at a certain time, we bought a ton of goldfish and put it into the pond in his backyard, and we all fished. So bringing up the goldfish made him realize exactly what I was talking about, and he had to tell me the story back at the end. So that's just a little piece of kind of how we deal.
But still, sometimes you must get some people where you're trying to give them something and they don't want to accept the fact of what you're telling them, and they're like, no. Yes. And so you don't want to follow their lead. You kind of want to follow your own lead, is what you're saying.
And that's when I say, okay, if it doesn't make sense to you right now, just hold on to it, and because it's intense. But when we give information, whether it's validations or messages, sometimes some of the validations could be so random where you might not have thought about it for some time, and then all of a sudden, if you think about it. You're like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about that in 20 years. But yeah, you're right. That's exactly what happened. Because all the time after I give a private reading, I'll get emails a couple weeks later and say, hey, I just want to let you know, remember you said such and such? Well, it totally makes sense now because of this, that, and the other thing. So just because the information doesn't come together like a puzzle at that moment, just hold on to it.
A tough thing, too, is even when I get readings, I know it's so overwhelming that you feel like you're in a fog and you can't even think at that moment. So you kind of think, kind of like a deer in the headlights. You don't even know what to do, and you're not sure, and you actually have to sit there and think about it. But mediums go so fast that you don't have time to think about it.
It goes quick, 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 quick. So. But
still, especially in the early goings, there must have been some incidents where you almost, getting back to the idea of the chat room question of second guessing, there must have been some time when you were like, how much of this is an outright connection that I made for somebody and I tell them to hold on to it and it makes sense later, and how much of it is a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy? You know, if you're telling somebody you're going to get on a bus at some point and then, 6 months later, like, holy crap, I just rode a bus today and Tiffany told me that I was going to. How much of it is just sooner or later it's bound to come true, and how much of it was like a smack in the face connection later on?
That leads more into psychic. Like if we're telling the future per se, like that's not really what we do. Mm-hmm. We talk about what their loved ones would have to say to them.
Okay, well that might have been a bad example.
Well, it would be.
But I've personally witnessed Stephanie doing various psychic things. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll give you a good example.
Okay.
Putting a thought or words in that were sent telepathically to her husband.
Oh, okay.
And I watched him physically turn around and answer a question that she physically did not ask out loud. And that to me was one of those like, holy moly.
You didn't mention the fact that he actually we were at the gun range and he had two
headphones.
sets of ear protection on. He had the little earplugs inside and the headphones on, and he was actually shooting at the time, and he stopped shooting and turned around and answered my question. And Andy and Matt were sitting there, and I just giggled to myself because they knew exactly what I was doing. So yes, there is a psychic part to what we do. I am a psychic medium. I'm not just a medium. I do focus on my mediumship, but sometimes psychic does come through. Definitely not vague things. If I do say it, it's very specific, and I actually hold off from saying certain things unless I know it's absolutely specific. Like even last night when we were with Andy Lake, I told him where I am standing right now, there is a very large rock underneath me that is going to give you a very hard time tomorrow. And I pictured him just kind of stomping around and just being frustrated by it. I said, so go in tomorrow with a calm mind and open mind. And in the middle of my day today, I was running around and I got a bunch of pictures of this whale of a rock that gave them a very hard time today. So even that, I called my husband. I'm like, oh, it's so funny about this rock. And he said, why do you second guess yourself? Why do you do that? You knew the rock was there. I was like, but you still get surprised. Mm-hmm. It's still fun to be surprised because you're just not sure.
And that rock was a pain in the ass.
What you should have done is you should have dug it all out and like dropped it off on her front porch, or when she came here tonight, been like, here. Take it home with you. It's your rock.
6 people to carry it.
I do want to say that.
Yeah, maybe more.
That being a medium, you're also psychic as well. You're intuitive. You have that psychic ability. Not all psychics are so if you're a medium, you're psychic as well. If you're psychic, you're usually not a medium. So,
well, I mean, the idea behind my question was, how much of it is, and you kind of explained it to me, you are getting things that are very specific, because I think the common misconception is, excuse me, especially, living in the post-John Edward era, where, the common perception is you're going to go into one of these readings the same way, John Edward goes into those gallery readings on his old show where, I'm getting an M connection over here. Anybody got an M? No? How about a P? How about an S?
Right. I know what you're
You're always going to have the common denominators.
And I think that people have started to believe that what we would refer to as cold reading is what everybody does. And they don't realize that it's not like that. That, first of all, if it was, you'd be wasting a lot of people's time. If you were on the Psychic Friends hotline and you were getting $4.99 a minute, you might want to go that route. But when you're standing there and facing a person one-on-one, people that have paid you money for a reading, they don't want to sit there and wait for what they would perceive to be you guessing, where it's not necessarily you guessing, but it's things coming through pieces at a time. So it must have taken a while for each of you to kind of feel comfortable enough with how easy you were able to tap into this ability before you said to somebody, okay, I'm willing to accept your money in order to provide this service.
Right. Absolutely. It took a lot of, one thing I'll say to everybody out there, if you are interested in doing any type of intuitive or medium work, go to, I know a lot of your metaphysical shops have medium groups. For instance, people that are just starting out, people that have been doing it for a long time, they're just medium circles, and they just go back and forth and try to learn from each other about honing in on their skills. So.
Well, we have a couple calls here, and we've got about 8 minutes left in this hour. So if you have any questions that you'd like to ask Tiffany and Stephanie, well, we started a little late, so that's the thing. We started 10:15, so it seems like it's short because it is. It's the way that we cheat the guest, so that, because otherwise we have to carry a conversation for an hour, and it's not easy for us. But if you have any questions, you want to call in, 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. You can also email us, spookycrew@spookysouthcoast.com, or jump in the chat room on Spooky TV at spookysouthcoast.com. Maybe you've had a reading from Tiffany or Stephanie, and you want to call back and share that something came true or something was accurate that they told you that you didn't realize at the time. That's something that you want to share that you weren't aware of at the time of the reading, or maybe you just have some questions in general. So let's take these couple of calls before we run out of time. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Tiffany and Stephanie. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks, everybody. I'm actually calling to see if you guys might be able to either help me or point me in the direction of a supernatural mystery that has puzzled me for decades. I had two younger brothers, and when they were they told me that when they were young, they slept in bunk beds, and the way that they slept was that the way that their pillow was, they could look out the door of their bedroom and look into the adjacent room. One night, the older of the two said that he saw an entity that was dressed in black with a hood, and at one point, it turned and looked at him. I don't think that he could see a face, but it really startled him. And at that moment, he asked my other brother, who was on the bottom bunk, he said, "Do you see that?" And he said, "Yes." So the both of them saw this entity. Now, this is when they were kids. Fast forward to 1989, the older of the two, the third weekend in April, was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he ended up dying 14 years later at the age of 40. My younger brother, the third week of April, about 5 years later, was also diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he died 2 years later at the age of 28. I often wondered if that entity that they both say that they saw when they were children had some type of a connection, because it seems very odd to me that same weekend in April, years later, in years apart, but they both ended up having, they both ended up with terminal illnesses, finding out that they had those illnesses on that weekend and then dying some years later. I just wondered if you've ever heard of anything like that, or that question has just always bothered me.
What do you guys think?
Well, I personally don't feel that. I believe that they did probably witness an entity. I don't think. I'm not getting the feeling that it was something that was foreshadowing something to be as far as a terminal illness.
I'm going to agree with you on that, because I wasn't getting a bad feeling from that at all.
No, I think it was just one of those, and I don't believe in coincidence. I feel that everything does happen for a reason. However, I feel that it could have just been an entity at the house. I kind of feel it's separate from what actually happened on a physical sense as far as your brother's passing.
Okay.
All right.
You don't think that there was a connection between the two? It's just a coincidence that they both happened on that same weekend in April, that there's no correlation between the two?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Okay.
Right. Well, thank you so much for the call.
Well, thank you for your help. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
I do wonder, those maybe because they were on that path of having a shortened life, that maybe they were a little bit more attuned,
absolutely,
to the other side, and so they were able to perceive it more. We have about 3 minutes here before the end of the first hour, so let's go to the phones and we'll try and sneak in a quick call. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast. How are you?
Yes, hi. Is Tim?
Yes.
Yes. My name's Edwin. I'm actually the owner of a Victorian mansion.
How you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. The reason why I was calling is probably about a year ago, I made a decision to move out of the Victorian mansion. It's located in Gardner, and I never quite found out. Well, through all the investigations that we've had, no one has actually pinpoint whatever is there, if it's evil in nature, and it's we're considering going back. So I wasn't sure if it's something that I guess it's very difficult for you guys to pick up on something that you can tell whether or not if it's just a nasty spirit or if it's something evil or not. But it just got a little bit out of hand toward at the end, and it kept escalating the longer we lived there. And there was a lot of stuff that would go on in that house. It's an old Victorian mansion dated back to the late 1800s. And in the back of my mind, I'm still not sure if I really want to go back. And I just wanted to see if you guys were able to. I mean, I spoke to Andrew Lake, and he mentioned that you guys were amazing. And then hopefully I would like to invite you guys to someday come down to see what you guys can pick up on.
Edwin, I think I met you at the Metaphysical Fair back in November 5th, Rhode Island.
Yes, I remember that, and I think we briefly talked about it, and right. I was really kind of excited about hoping that one day you'll be able to go down there. I've only been back only a handful of times since a year ago, but I still have that doubt in my mind. Like I said, there was a lot of stuff that would go on, and things that would happen to Lillian, which is my better half. I was really kind of nervous for her, and so
we would love to. We would love to come down and do a walk.
We're up against the news break here, Edwin, but we can set something up certainly off the air. Moniz knows how to get to your place. And
I can bring him up.
He'll bring him up for you.
I'd be happy.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds
let's
great.
set something
and Matt,
up.
It's so good to hear from you, Matt. Matt's just the coolest dude, and Lillian just loves Matt.
Don't tell him that. That's going to go to his head. Now I got to deal with it.
I'd be glad to bring them up. Yeah, I got your number and stuff. We'll communicate offline, and I'll set up a date. Will that work for you?
Sounds good then, Matt. It sounds great then. But looking forward to meeting Stephanie, right?
Yes. Yep. I met you briefly at the same fair, but I'm looking forward to meeting you again.
All right. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we are coming up on the news break. When we come back, we will talk more with Tiffany Rice and Stephanie Burke about their abilities. We'll also have some free mini readings for you on the air, so I know the phones are going to be lit up for that. We'll also tell you more about the upcoming Legend Trips events, and I'll share with you a bunch of library lectures that are coming up. I'm going to be a busy guy this month looking at this list here. 4 upcoming library lectures, including this Wednesday at the Bourne Library and this Thursday at the Wareham Library. We'll tell you about all that coming up in just a few minutes on the other side of the news break here on Spooky Southcoast.
The station the South Coast turns to for news, sports, and weather. WBSM New Bedford, AM 1420, WBSM.
From ABC News, I'm Richard Cantu. An aircraft manufacturer is facing a strike. Union machinists at Bombardier Learjet in Wichita have overwhelmingly rejected a proposed contract and authorized a strike. The rejected deal called for no raises in the first year and just 1% in each of the next 4. Union member Patrick Holliday.
We made concessions in 2006. And I don't think the membership is willing to make more concessions.
The union members voted to strike late tomorrow night against Bombardier Learjet. Presidential politics. Mitt Romney has begun a 3-day swing through the battleground state of Florida. Near Orlando, Romney talked up his debate performance last Wednesday, asserting he asked President Obama the questions Americans want answered.
With 23 million Americans out of work, why it was when he took office, instead of focusing on jobs, He instead focused on Obamacare. I asked him that question.
President Obama was celebrating his 20th wedding anniversary. He makes a fundraising trip to Los Angeles tomorrow. After losing a years-long extradition fight, 5 accused terrorists, including radical cleric Abu Hamza al-Masri, appeared in federal court in New York and New Haven, Connecticut, after being flown back from Britain.
Prosecutors called the men the nerve centers of al-Qaeda's acts of terror, who caused blood to be shed, lives to be lost. Abu Hamza has been charged with hostage-taking in Yemen, facilitating jihad in Afghanistan, and attempting to start a terror training camp in Oregon. The one-eyed, hook-handed cleric is also thought to have influenced shoe bomber Richard Reed and 9/11 conspirators Akarius Musawi.
ABC's Aaron Katersky in New York. Dragnet out in Boise for a mountain lion. A bicycle officer caught a glimpse of the animal, and there have been a number of calls to 911. Ada County Sheriff spokeswoman Andrea Dearden.
So far, we've not been able to find any confirmation that the animal is there. We have not seen tracks or seen the mountain lion.
It's believed the mountain lion is a young adult trying to find its way. You're listening to ABC News.
We're not sure what some banks mean when they say,
"How can I help you?"
Because whenever you ask for their help, it's always,
"That's not in our policy, sir."
And then they need to
transfer you to a supervisor
who is
currently assisting other customers.
And after all that, they say,
"Your business is extremely important to us."
At Ally Bank, we give you live, knowledgeable customer service any time of day or night. Products designed to help you, and no ridiculous fees. That's how Ally helps. Ally Bank. Your money needs an ally. Member FDIC.
When it comes to managing your diabetes, Bayer's new Contour Next EZ blood glucose meter makes testing easy. You also get exceptional accuracy because it uses the next generation Contour Next test strip for close to lab test results. And all this at the lowest everyday price of all major brands. You can find Bayer's new Contour Next EZ meter at your local retail pharmacy. Just ask your pharmacist and upgrade today. Bayer's new Contour Next EZ meter. Ease, accuracy, and savings. Now that's a powerful combination.
A judge on New York's Long Island has ruled that Grace Lee has the right to end her own life. A year ago, Lee was diagnosed with an incurable brain tumor. Last month, she was left paralyzed by a stroke. Grace's parents sued to keep her on the respirator that does her breathing for her. Grace's attorney, David Smith, says Grace can now end her life if she wants.
Knowing that she has control of her own decision-making process, once again, is extremely important to Grace. And with that knowledge, she intends to consult with her family and with her doctors on an ongoing basis as to what she's going to do.
Smith calls it empowering for Grace Lee to know that the decision on ending her life is her own. ABC's David Blaustein says it was 50 years ago this weekend that the music industry changed forever.
On October 5th, 1962, the record company EMI released this song. Love Me Do. Love Me Do was the very first single ever released by the Beatles. It reached number 17 on the British charts.
EMI, on the basis of how Love Me Do performed, took the attitude of let's get them back in the studio.
Bruce Spicer has written several books about the Beatles.
For their second single, they recorded a much better song, Please Please Me,
which went number 1 on several British charts. Please, please. And, well, the rest is history. David Blaustein, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Get the Wave Ventilation Unit. It will transform your home into a drier, healthier environment. Satisfaction guaranteed. Call 1-888-964-WAVE. That's 1-888-964-WAVE.
I'm Richard Cantu, ABC News.
Come on, hit a homer, Jesse!
Let's go, guys!
Hey, did you guys know that kids who play sports earn more money when they grow up?
Of course. I knew that.
Hey, did you guys know that kids who read books have a bigger vocabulary?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Wow, jinx. Did you guys know that friendly children have more friends?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's true, I knew that. Did you guys know that winter babies are better at music?
Everyone knows that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, so obvious.
Oh, hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Huh, I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I knew that.
I'm pretty sure you didn't.
Parents who really know it all
Know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Radio, a medium that has been pruned, honed, trimmed, winnowed, chiseled, bonsai'd, and deposited here today, ready.
This is Jack Peterson with the latest featured animals up for adoption at the Forever Paws Animal Shelter, 300 Linwood Street in Fall River. There are some wonderful cats up for adoption. Sherlock is a black and white 1-year-old male with a great personality. He's friendly, playful, affectionate, and a lot of fun to interact with. Gets along well with other cats and small dogs. Ruth is a 5-year-old calico who'd like to be the only cat in your home since she tends to become the boss of others. She's friendly, affectionate, and will greet you purring when she wants attention. Now, if you're 55 or older, you can adopt Ruth through the Senior to Senior Adoption Program, sponsored by the Coalition for Animals of Greater New Bedford. The regular fee, $100, will be reduced to $5 just for you. If you're younger than 55, you're eligible to adopt Ruth for the fee of $30 since she's been living at the shelter for a year. For more information, call the shelter at 508-677-9154 or visit their website, foreverpaws.com.
Hello, and welcome to today's lottery drawing. Good luck. And here's today's winning numbers. First one up, it's not yours. Second one, not yours. And another number that's not yours. Okay, this is one number that's yours. It's a 5, but you don't get any money for that. And the final number is not yours.
Yep, so chances are you're not going to hit the lottery anytime soon. Don't get us wrong, the lottery can be fun every now and then. Just please don't rely on it for your future savings. How about this? Brew your own coffee at home instead of buying that latte every day. Brown bag it to work instead of ordering in. Ride your bike instead of buying all that gas. These changes alone can save you thousands a year. Thousands. Small changes today, big bucks tomorrow. Feed that piggy bank. Go to feedthepig.org for more free ideas on how to save. Feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Who's watching your home when you're not there? It could be a burglar. Burglars prefer to break in when they think no one is home, and no one will stop them. Don't be an easy target for intruders. Protect your home with a free security system monitored by ADT, the leader in home security. Call now and get free hardware, free medical and fire alert, and free activation. It's an $850 value. Call right now and you'll also get 6 free sensors. That's 6 points of protection for free. Just call Protect Your Home, your authorized ADT dealer, at 1-888-987-3232. You'll get 24-hour protection, and there's no cost for parts or activation. Call now about a free security system monitored by ADT. Call 1-888-987-3232. $99 installation charge, 36-month monitoring agreement, $35.99 per month. Total package includes 6 door window sensors. Labor charges may apply. Call for terms and conditions to this offer and protect your home license numbers. Call now, 1-888-987-3232.
Look, I know the supernatural is something that isn't supposed to happen, but it does happen.
AM 1420, WBSM presents Spooky Southcoast with your hosts, Tim Weisberg and Matt Costa.
Welcome back in hour number 2 of Spooky Southcoast. Tim Weisberg here along with Science Advisor Matt Moniz, Matt Costa, MIA. Still working. hopefully we'll get him here someday. We have the entire Halloween season before us, so hopefully he'll come and join us at some point, at least make a stop in for a little while. Next week we'll be back on the air at our regular time. We'll be having, will be a challenge to the censor buttons. We'll be having Jackie Barrett making her return to the show. Those of you who heard her first appearance here on Spooky Southcoast know that the discussion started off pretty well at the beginning, and toward the end of the night we decided to go a little bit overtime with it because the talk was going so good and multiple F-bombs started flying, so definitely check it out. I'm still making restitution to the FCC for that. The station, for some reason, doesn't want to cover you when you have Jackie Barrett on. But we're going to talk with her about her new book, The Devil I Know, which is all about her work with Ronnie DeFeo and the Amityville case. And that is just, it's an amazing read. I'm almost done with it. And I find that I don't get scared by a lot of the stuff that we do here and in the paranormal field, but I found that there's only certain times that I'll be willing to read that book. And it's not so much the Amityville stuff, which, of course, everybody that knows the show knows how I feel about the Amityville case. But there's a lot of things that happened to Jackie in her own life and the way that she grew up and the eerie similarities that they have to the Amityville case that kind of really creeps me out a little bit. And speaking of the Amityville case, I'll be giving a talk on Tuesday, October 30th at the Mattapoisett Library at 6 p.m., and the name of the presentation is 92 2nd Street, the Victorian Amityville Horror, where I present some of the correlations between the Lizzie Borden case and the Amityville case, the DeFeo murders. So that's coming up on Tuesday, October 30th in the Mattapoisett Library. But before that, this Wednesday, October 10th, I'll be at the Bourne Library at 7 p.m. For a presentation that I like to call Paranormal 101. It's just a beginning for people who have never investigated before, for people who don't really know if they buy into the idea of ghosts. And I'll kind of take you through a little bit of the history of ghost hunting, a little bit of the theory behind it, and I'll show you some of the tools that we use for it. And this is at the Bourne Library, which is rumored to be haunted, so I'll have some equipment there that we can try out. And I don't bring the heavy-duty stuff with, the Mel meters and all that kind of stuff, because that's too much tech for beginners. I want to bring them things that they can see results. So one of the things that I will bring, of course, is the Shack Hack. Everybody loves the Shack Hack. Us who investigate keep slapping ourselves in the head because we say that we don't believe in it. How can this thing be real? And then stuff comes through and we're just like, well, let's just go with it. And so I'll have that. And I'm excited about this new app that I've put on my phone. I have an Android phone, but I think it's available for iPhones too. And what it does is it essentially works like an RT EVP. It plays things back on a delay from what's being recorded. Now, the problem with this, there's a number of devices that will do this, but the problem with them are they're bringing you a delay of what's coming in over the mic line. It's not what's being recorded. So therefore, you're not necessarily bringing in what the spirit is implanting into it. We say that we think that an EVP is an imprinting that's put it onto the device. And so therefore, it needs to be the recording that's playing back that you're hearing and not just what's coming through the mic line. I don't know if I believe that. I mean, I think any chance to kind of jump in and say something is a chance to jump in and say something. But I checked with the developers of the app, and they said that it indeed is a playback of what is buffering to the SD card that's in the phone. So basically, it's an RT EVP for free. All right, so we'll try that out. We'll see how it works there. The problem with it, though, is it only has a 2-second delay, which might be a little too quick for some people. But we'll try it out. We'll mess around with it. And, of course, if anybody that's out there wants to come to the lecture, Born at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, bring your own equipment if you are an investigator, and, of course, we can try that stuff out as well. And then on Thursday, this coming Thursday, October 11th, I'll be at the Wareham Library at 7 p.m. for Ghosts of the Southcoast. This is some of the more intriguing stories from my first book, and we'll talk about, of course, the Lizzie Borden case is involved with that, the Fearing Tavern, which we'll be investigating on October 20th right there in Wareham, and Fort Tabor is in the book. That's coming up this Friday, our Legend Trips event. So basically, the best way to do this is to go to my Facebook page. If you go to the Tim Weisberg page, it's the author page. And I have all the lectures coming up. But again, it's Born on Wednesday at 7 p.m., Wareham on Thursday at 7 p.m. Then October 24th, I'm going back to Bourne to talk about haunted objects. And then Tuesday, October 30th at the Mattapoisett Library, 92 2nd Street, the Victorian Amityville Horror. So lots of chances to come and listen to me talk. I don't know why you'd want to, but please do.
Well, how cool would it be to go see your lecture on Thursday, hear about Fort Taber, and then purchase a ticket for Fort Taber for the next night?
Right, absolutely. And I will have tickets for sale. I'll have books for sale, tickets for sale. I can take a credit card right on my cell phone. So if you have not purchased a ticket yet and you want to get your chance, and you're not going to get a chance to until that day, you can come and see me. And I do want to stress for everybody that is buying quote-unquote tickets online. There's been a lot of people that haven't read the receipt page when the sale goes through. We don't actually send you a ticket because we did that for a while, and tickets were getting lost in the mail. So what we decided to do instead was we now give you that form to print out and bring with you, but we put your name on a list. So if you've purchased a ticket, the name of the person who purchased the ticket is on our list. So you just have to give us that information. But please do purchase the tickets for the Legend Trips events in advance if you can, because we need to have a count for pizza. We don't want anybody to not get enough pizza. And, we could always over-order, but you can't really over-order with Moniz and Andy there. They make sure they polish off anything that's extra. So please go to legendtrips.com if you're thinking about joining us this Friday for Supernatural Siege at Fort Taber, or next Saturday, October 20th, Saturday, October 20th, not next Saturday, but the week after, for Haunted History Night at the Fearing Tavern. And you guys have been in the Fearing Tavern. You've checked it out. I'd had a pretty amazing moment with Tiffany coming in and pretty much reciting everything that had come through for us on a Shack Hack. How often do you get a chance to walk into a building that was built in 1690 and have 400 years of history come through like that?
It's incredible.
It is.
So
do it. Go buy a ticket.
And again, just as the same as...
I too.
Yes, please.
Bring a friend.
And just as with Supernatural Siege this Friday, you can also purchase readings one-on-one with Tiffany and Stephanie. Again, $30 for a 20-minute reading. It's a great deal. And when we say it's a private one-on-one reading, we're not saying like they're going to take you over into like the last seats in the last row of where everybody else is watching the lectures. We get you a nice quiet place to go one-on-one, nobody else around. It couldn't be any more private unless they went to one of your offices,
right?
And we'll tell people how they can do that too. But please, if you buy your ticket, right when you're on the website buying the ticket, pick up your reading at the same time as well. And don't forget the great hotel room deals that are available for both events. If you want to come from far away, we hook it up. We make sure that you can stay, and it's not going to cost you much. Right here in Fairhaven, we have the Hampton Inn. You can stay there for $79 plus tax. And if you're coming from the other direction for Haunted History Night and you want to stay at the Middleborough Days Inn, you can stay there for $70 plus tax. So, that's half off. Yeah, half off the room rates. So basically, you're getting out for pretty cheap. You can go to those other events where you're dropping $250, $300, and you get to hang out with some of the people that you see on TV and stuff. And those are great events, and they do a good job with those. But with us, we try to make the location the star of the event. We're giving you a place that nobody else is going to be able to get into and investigate like this. And we make sure we take care of you. We're going to feed you. We're going to do our best to find you a place to stay. For some reason you can't afford a hotel room, Moniz will lend you his tent. You can sleep out in Fort Tabor. I don't recommend that.
If you dare.
You're kind of out in the elements on the south end of New Bedford, but it should be a great night. Again,
I'm not worried.
SpookySouthcoast.com has all the info. LegendTrips.com is where you can buy all the tickets. Check it out. Now, I want to mention, before we forget then, that I just mentioned a second ago, but I don't want to forget to give you an opportunity to mention each of you have a location where people can come and book readings with you one-on-one.
Right. I just opened up a new office the 1st of August, actually, in Pembroke. That's South Shore, Massachusetts. Not on the South Coast, but the South Shore, Massachusetts.
Just a short drive.
Yeah. It's a short drive. It's right off of Route 3. It's exit 12. I do my private readings, my family readings. Also, I hold gallery events, which I have a gallery event coming up this Saturday with Nicole Stevens, October 13th. Tickets are still available for that. Also, I teach guided meditation classes, and I will be teaching Reiki, so you can get certified for your Reiki 1, 2, and 3 as well. And any info, you guys can just go to tiffanyrice.com or go to Spirit Medium Tiffany on Facebook.
And you're local here in the area,
I am
Steph?
local. Yep, I'm at 1193 Ashley Boulevard in New Bedford, right near Volk Tech, Pine Grove Cemetery, oddly enough.
It's Windwalker Healing and Holistic Center, and you can go to www.windwalkerhealing.com in order to find my information, different classes that we offer. I do provide readings. I am a Reiki master teacher. I do teach Reiki as well, and I do table tipping as well, which is a little different. So in order to get in touch with me, you can find me the website, or you can find me on Stephanie Burke on Facebook.
Well, both of us on Spirit Connections.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Tuesday night, 7 p.m.
And of course, our good friend Linda Lynch is down there as well.
Yes, she is.
And I'm sure she's, is she finally settled in now? I know it was very stressful for her getting everything going to begin with, but
She still thinks something's missing, but that's Linda. So,
well, she's a great friend of the show.
She
She's
is.
been a longtime friend of ours. So check out Stephanie and Tiffany at their various locations, and go to their websites, which are both linked up on SpookySouthcoast.com if you're not writing them down now as we speak. And now the phone lines are lit up here, and I know that we said we were going to do some readings here in this hour. Let's go to these calls first and see if they have a question, because I don't think it would be fair to let them call in at the beginning of the hour and kind of get in line for readings. I don't think that would be fair. So we'll see if they have a question. We'll let them ask it. If they want a reading, we're just going to ask you to hang up and call back. I think it's the only way to be fair. And don't try to sneak in a reading by asking a question in a roundabout way. We're too smart for that. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast. Do you have a question for Tiffany and Stephanie? Oh. Hello? Okay. Hi, you're on Spooky South Coast. Do you have a question for Tiffany and Stephanie? Phone line's on. I think it's all I think that they've all just decided that they want to have readings. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little radio trick. Now the phone lines are open. If you'd like to have a free reading from Tiffany and Stephanie, just give us a call, 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. We are going to keep it on a tight time limit because there are going to be a lot of calls that come through. So we're going to hold it to 2 minutes and kind of one question type of scenario because we don't want to have one person hogging up the entire time. We only have about 40 minutes left in the show, so we want to try to get through as many calls as we can. Not to make you guys nervous, but when we had Rick Hayes on the show a few weeks ago, we took something like 18 calls.
How many minutes do you want to give each call for a response?
2 minutes.
Keep a time.
2 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So let's go to the first one. Good evening. We're on Spooky South Coast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Kaylee.
All right. Hi, Kaylee. Do you have a question for them?
No, I was called back for a reading.
Yes.
Do you have a specific question that you want to ask, though, for the reading?
I've never done this before, so I don't
Okay.
really know. But
Well, what's a good way for Kaylee to get started here, girls?
Basically, we just say who we are and what we do, which we're both spirit mediums, so we just ask that you keep an open mind. Anybody and everybody could come through, so it may not be the person that you're looking to hear from. However,
Okay.
I am getting a mail coming through for you, okay? I'm also getting the number 23. I'm not sure if that's an age or it could be the 23rd of a month, but it holds some sort of significance towards this mail coming through for you.
Okay.
Okay. Do you understand a younger male passing in a car accident?
I do know a few.
Okay. I just heard the name Jason or Jay. Jay. There's a strong J in his name.
I know a James.
Okay. Is he passed?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't really close to them, though. I just knew him.
Okay, that's okay. I'm also getting two colors representing him. They're blue and yellow. Okay, I don't know if they're school colors.
Yeah, actually, they were. That's really weird.
Okay. And also, April is a big month for him as well. Again, it could be a month of his passing.
Okay.
Okay, just hold on to it if it doesn't make sense. Was this 7 years ago?
No.
Okay.
It was a few years back.
Okay, I'm just hearing the number 7. Okay, well, you need to know, even though you may not have known James as well, as you would think that he's coming through for a reading, and you're thinking, well, why is it him?
Right.
Because they can, and once they see that light, they want to come in, and they want to say hello, and they want to make that little visit. So just know that your friend James is around you, and he's a hot ticket because he's coming in pretty strong. So he's like a firecracker.
Yeah.
But just know that he is around you.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye.
And it's important to note, too, that it might be, he's coming through now because she's calling in for the reading, but it could be somebody that she knows who knew him better and was like, yeah, I had this reading over the radio and, James came through. Oh, my God, James came through. And it could mean something to somebody else.
Gets to where it should.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Don't be afraid to share what you're hearing.
Exactly.
And so, again, just so people understand when they call in, you're going to try to make a connection. You might not always. And if you don't, well, feel free to say that. Don't worry about hurting anybody's feelings. It's not a guarantee. It's not 100% every time. And then also, your plan is to kind of go back and forth a little bit so that you can conserve your energy. But of course, if either one of you has anything to say that you want to pipe in with, you will. If somebody does want to speak to one of you specifically, is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay. To make it easier, if somebody knows that they want to connect with someone specific or they have a specific question, definitely shout it out because we have such a limited time.
Yeah.
Good idea, Steph. Like a first
because
name.
It takes us a little while to get going to find that person to speak with them. So if they have that specific person or a specific question, definitely shout it out.
And also, if you hear a little bit of silence on our end, don't feel like you need callers to jump in and fill in that gap. It's just the ladies here taking a second to kind of listen in. I don't want them to kind of...
It's an interview process.
Right.
Yeah, so
I don't want them to kind of, start talking all over it and you're trying to get the message while they're talking. So, all right, we'll go to the next call. You're on Spooky South Coast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Hi, this is Bernie.
Hi, Bernie. How are you?
Hi, Bernie.
I'm good, thank you. I enjoy participating in this live event.
We enjoy having you.
Yeah, this is great.
Do you have a question for us?
Question. I thought we were on the reading portion of this.
Yes, we are. Do you have a question or a specific person that you'd like to connect to? Because we have a short amount of time.
No, I don't. I'm just open.
Okay.
I
a
went
great
to the
way to be.
Go ahead. Yeah, I was at the Spiritualist Church, and the oddest thing is my father's father came through, who I really didn't know. But it was pretty amazing, in Quincy, the Spiritualist Church.
Yes.
Yeah. It was Kelly Sutliff.
Okay.
Okay. So, anyway, tomorrow, Providence is a big day.
Excellent.
And, anyhow, so... the last time I got a reading, someone was hollering out my name, and I went to see Stasha just to find out who it was.
Fabulous. Well, I will tell you that I do feel a female presence around you. Okay?
Yeah.
Bernie, are you one of three?
Yeah.
There's three? Okay, because that's what they're showing. I'm getting a motherly figure coming through. I'm not sure if she was...
You know something? My wife is in the next room, and I don't know, should I give you information, but I was looking for a motherly figure, and it usually happens the way I think it's going to.
Okay, well, I will tell you that she's not your biological mother.
Right.
Okay, but she is a motherly figure.
Yeah.
And Steph, if you have stuff to add too, feel free to jump in.
Yep.
Okay.
Keep going. So a motherly figure.
Okay. There's also...
mute that?
She's telling me 2 months, okay, so I'm not sure if it's, she passed 2 months ago or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Your mother's here.
What's
I was going to say, it's a close connection to your wife.
She doesn't even know what I'm doing.
It's okay.
She's passing all the information, and she's probably just going to
She's coming in, I don't know if it...
Mute it.
Sorry,
go ahead.
go ahead. Good. No, I just want to say she's raving about your kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't... I feel like you changed the color of your kitchen, or there's something new in the kitchen. She's raving about it. She's in love with it.
Well, we got a wood stove we just put in next to the kitchen.
Okay.
It's sort of like in the same space.
Okay, I don't know if you can answer this or not, or your wife might have to. Closer to her time of passing, your wife was there for her?
Yes.
Okay, because she's come in to say thank you. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being there for me through the end. Thank you for taking care of me.
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking the whole time you were going, so go ahead.
Right.
Got it out.
She passed on the summer solstice.
June 21st.
Right here in the house, right next to where I'm standing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well,
And this is important for my wife. I'll just tell her later. She is not.
Well, just know that she's acknowledging the new renovations as far as the wood stove goes in the kitchen, and she wants to thank.
Yeah, she wants to
her
thank
daughter.
your wife
Mhm.
for doing all that she did. She made a sacrifice that she didn't have to, and she was there. So it was important
beautiful.
to her.
You know, they cleaned her and new dress and makeup and lipstick, and this other woman, Tracy Allen, had told her that her brother had passed. She brought in her aunt, her father, and her brother, like the day after Reggie went in the hospital.
Well, just know that she's not too far away from an earshot of your thoughts. So definitely make sure you pass along the message to your wife, because your mother-in-law is around you at all times.
Thank you.
And bear in mind, you can always download the show afterwards, so your wife.
I love the archives. There's a lot of good information there.
And we'll have the video archive up on YouTube too, as long as the tech holds up, so you can show it to her as well.
Excellent.
All right. Thank you so much for the call.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Again, if you'd like to call in, we have about a half an hour left in the show. The numbers are 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. We do have 2 lines open. We have 4 lines altogether. So if you call in and it's busy, then just keep trying. Again, if you ever want to have a more private reading with Tiffany or Stephanie, you can get a hold of them at their individual offices. They're both posted up on SpookySouthcoast.com. If you just go to the website, when you see their picture come up, just click on it, and it'll take you to the page that will bring you to each of their websites. And that's probably the best way, because you're only really giving people a little bit of a taste of what you can do. And I'm sure one-on-one, especially when you're looking at them, and especially for you, Stephanie, where people might be appearing before you, you'll have a chance to be a little bit more intimate in the reading. And I'm sure too there's some things that come through at times that you don't want to say over the air, because you don't know how it's going to affect that person.
Right. It's private.
And these are also what we would call like a drive-by reading. And sometimes our loved ones don't want to have a drive-by reading. They want to they want to be able to divulge some more information. So. And
then they might not want to have, the millions of listeners that are listening right now, hearing it as well. Please tell me it's millions. Please tell me it's millions. All right. I think line 3 is the next one. Good evening. You're on Spooky South Coast with Tiffany and Stephanie. How you doing?
Good. Hi, Stephanie and Tiffany.
Hi.
I'd be honored if any one of you can give me a little reading.
Can we have your name, please?
Dixie.
Dixie.
I like that name. That's fun. Yeah. It's a fun name.
Yeah, and she just isn't whistling either.
No.
All right. I'm feeling husband with you. Okay, he's coming through. He's pointing to his chest as far as how his passing goes. I feel like it was a sudden passing with him.
Unexpected.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm also getting the number 56 with you. I don't know if that's an age or 56.
A year.
Could be 1956. Thank you, Matt. Just hold on to it if it doesn't make sense, but those numbers.
That's fine.
Okay. Oh, and he's pointing to a necklace that you're wearing right now.
I have one, but I'm not wearing it.
You're not wearing it?
No.
Okay. Well, he's holding on to it. He said, "That's my necklace. That's the one that I gave her."
Oh, yeah, I do use it a lot.
Maybe he wants you to wear it now.
Yeah, maybe he wants it. I have to sleep with it.
Put it under your pillow.
That's right.
He's showing me the way that he passed kind of left you in a little bit of a shock. You weren't sure, what direction to take. Kind of felt like you were left with almost, for lack of a better word, a mess.
That's right.
Okay. He's acknowledging that he's sorry for leaving you that way. He's sorry for leaving the love of his life, is what he's telling me. So, but he wants you to know that you are actually doing a really good job holding up the fort, is what he's saying.
All righty.
You're a lot stronger than you think you are,
Yes.
Dixie.
Well, thank you so much for the call.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. I have chills on that one.
All right. Now, normally I would say let's keep going in the order of the way the calls are received, but the bat phone's ringing, so I gotta see what this is all about. Good evening. We're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
It's Mike Markowitz. How you doing?
Mike Markowitz. I wonder why you were calling the special line.
Hi, Mike.
How you doing, girls?
Good.
I just wanted to call and say that I've recorded with the EVP sessions with these girls in a bunch of different venues and whatnot, and it's always very, very interesting when you get some really, really good results working with mediums. I know some groups don't like to use them, maybe because they feel they're too opinionative or not accurate, but every time I record with these girls, the EVPs will typically back up what they say. It's truly amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mike, I want to say too, I just found out today you'll be presenting on behalf of Bay State Paranormal at Fort Tabor this Friday night, right?
Yes, this is true.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited to get in there and to have access to the place when other people don't. Of course, you've been there before, right?
Yeah, it's super creepy when you walk in through the doors and you go through all the granite and you step inside. It gets completely silent and you enter another world. It's really something that you have to experience. And I got some tremendous EVPs out of there as well. And it's an incredible spot, and I'm really looking forward to going back there.
And you'll be playing those EVPs as part of the presentation?
I'm thinking about it. I think I should because some of them are pretty creepy. So it's a really good time, and it's just a fantastic place.
Awesome. All right, well, we look forward to hanging out with you, and it's always a pleasure seeing you and investigating with you.
Awesome.
And I'll be talking to you this week because I got some questions for you. So.
All right, fantastic.
All right, have
Thank
a good
you,
night.
Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, doing a great job, girls. Keep it up.
Thanks.
Good
All
night.
right, bye-bye.
See, he knows the number to call. That's why when he wants to get through. All right, we'll go right to our next call. Again, the numbers are 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. We'll go to line 4. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Phyllis.
Hi, Phyllis. Do you have a question
Hi.
for the girls?
I just wanted to know if they have anything from my mother-in-law.
Okay. It was completely silent for a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Silence is okay. And normally we don't. Normally the dead air whistle starts going off and we panic, but it's okay when you're trying to make a spirit connection.
Okay. She's showing me group dancing right now.
Oh.
Okay, group dancing. I don't know if it's something that she did when she was younger or something that you guys all did together, but to me, it almost looks like it's like I don't know if it's ballroom or square dancing, but that's what I mean by group dancing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's telling me that she didn't have the typical relationship with you that most people would think that you would have with your in-laws. Usually there's that kind of taboo there, like nobody gets along with their in-laws, but she's telling me that you were special to her.
That's right.
You almost got along a little bit better than you should have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I was just going to say better than her relationship
Your
with her
poor
son.
husband.
I'm hearing that she's with the girls. She's watching over the girls.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Yeah. I have all girls.
Okay, so that's...
Again, your poor husband.
No, I mean grandchildren.
Okay.
They're not here. They leave. They come back.
That's the best kind.
That's great. And she's holding your hand. I'm seeing her hold your hand. She's holding onto your hand.
Oh.
And she loves it. She loves it. And she's looking at your nails. Did you just get them done?
No.
Okay, because she's admiring your nails.
Oh, you know what? I always did my nails.
Okay.
That's very good.
So she's just acknowledging it.
Oh, very good.
So know that your mother-in-law is with you at all times. She's just a thought away.
Well, thank you so much, fellas.
Oh, thank you.
Have
You're
a great
welcome.
night.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, there's some people in the chat room asking, so the number is 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. And I just want to remind everybody, if you are calling in and getting a reading tonight, of course, it happens so fast, and you may not be able to remember everything that Tiffany and Stephanie say to you tonight, so you can always download the show on iTunes or wherever podcasts are found. And, of course, the video archives will be up on YouTube as well, so you'll have the opportunity to go back and re-listen to your reading and really see if there was anything that you missed. So the phone lines are all lit up again, but the numbers are 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420. We will go right to the next call, which is going to be line 2. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Hi, it's Carol.
Hi, Carol. Do you have a question for them?
I do. I've been finding a lot of dimes all over the place. Every time I turn around, I find a dime. And someone had said it means that somebody is looking down on you. And I just want to know who's leaving me dimes all over the place.
Or maybe John F. Kennedy's looking up at you.
Maybe.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Thanks.
The first person I'm hearing is Dad.
I was going to say, has Dad passed for you?
No.
Okay.
Or a father figure?
Yes.
Okay. Because I feel like he acted more part of a father figure. That's what he's saying. A big part, especially the last 17 years.
Wow. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my friend's dad.
And a lot of times when they leave dimes or pennies, or those are just little messages of, hey, I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still watching you. Whether
he is.
And you'll find them in the most strange places that you never imagined that you would. So we like to call them, pennies from heaven or dimes from heaven. They definitely do show up, and they prove to be a pretty good sign.
Maybe he's trying to help you save up for a vacation or something.
Yeah, just keep them. Put them in your piggy bank.
There we go.
Yeah, get one of those Belmont Springs jugs, and just every time you find one, put it in there, and then that'll be a good memory and a good reminder.
Yeah, no.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
You're
night.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Again, the numbers are 508-996-0500, 1-877-996-1420 for a toll-free call. And, of course, go to SpookySouthcoast.com to find the contact info for Tiffany Rice and Stephanie Burke if you'd rather have a reading off the air, or if you connected a little bit here and you'd like to go into a more in-depth reading. And, of course, you can also book a 20-minute reading for $30 at our upcoming Legend Trips events. We'll be at Fort Tabor on this coming Friday, and then the Wareham Historical Society on Saturday, October 20th at the Fearing Tavern. So go to legendtrips.com. You can purchase your tickets and your readings there as well. And hey, Dave, I can't help it. Nobody answers when I pick up. All right, so let's go to the next line, line 3. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Yes, it's me, Edwin again. Hi, Tim.
Hi,
Edwin. When you mentioned that you were doing this, I was curious because there's someone in particular that I was hoping that you guys can pick up on. Is there anything that you guys can tell me about?
I will tell you, I'm getting a mail again. Well, not again, but I am getting a mail for you. Okay.
Huh?
I just heard 2 boys. Are you one of 2, Edwin?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you have a brother?
Yes.
Okay, so the 2 boys. Okay. Is this Dad for you?
Yeah, it's my dad.
Okay. Okay. You don't have to say anything.
Okay.
He just said, you finally got through. Finally got through.
Okay.
It's okay. You don't have to say anything. When it's quiet, we're just doing a little interview.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing me a gold, to me it looks like a gold medal. I don't know if it's like a Medal of Honor, but it's
I do remember him having something like that, yeah.
Okay. And you put it in a plaque? Or it's in a plaque? He's showing me it in a plaque. Even if the thought
Like it's framed?
Yes. Sorry. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, but he's... Oh, wow, okay.
He's
I have
really
to ask
You
my
want to
mom.
find it and frame it?
Right. Well, no,
Is
I
that-
feel that it's already
framed.
It's already framed, but he's just acknowledging it as a form of validation of this is who he is. He's bringing up his two boys, you and your brother, and he's so proud of this.
Yeah, he was in the military. I wonder if that's... I have to ask my mom about that. But,
okay. 14.
You might want to ask your brother about it too, maybe.
Yeah, but I don't think he would know about it as well. I think my mom had most of the stuff, so... but that's pretty cool. I'm just curious because my dad spoke very little English.
Mm-hmm.
Would you get, like, images or do you get, like, words from him? I'm curious.
I feel like they translate to
they
to what
kind
we
of
can
translate for us,
understand.
or our guides
Oh,
help
okay.
us. Edwin, were you not with him when he passed?
Oh, my goodness. I was the one who left the room. I was
Okay.
the only one that wasn't there.
Okay, because he's telling me that whatever you're holding on to, that guilt feeling of doing that, you need to let go. It does not matter anymore. Okay, it matters to us here, but they don't look at it like that over there. So he's so proud of you. He's proud of your brother, and he's there with you all the time. So know that even though you weren't there, it's okay. So you need to let go of that feeling, okay?
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's actually 16 years ago today that he passed. So.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for the call. I'm glad we could help.
Yeah, look forward to hopefully meeting you, Tim and Stephanie, and I look forward to seeing you again, Matt and Tiffany. So you guys have a great evening. Thank you.
You too. Thanks, Edwin.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.
All right. See, and then that's kind of what's important here is that those who have passed can pass on these messages so that we can let go of what we hold on to. Because you're right. So many people do hold on to things, and it's so burdensome to people to hang on to the final 30 seconds of a person's life that they sometimes forget about all that happened before that.
I was just going to say, remember the lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
All right, well, let's go to our next call. We will go to line 1. Good evening. You were on, and I don't know why I keep saying what line it is because it doesn't matter to you guys or the callers. It's just in my own mind, so I cross it off on my list so we go in the right order. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Sure. My name is Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Carol, this isn't the same Carol that called before, is it?
No, this is another. No,
One
another
reading
one.
per night. Thank you. Do you have a question for the ladies?
I'm just wondering if they see anything around me.
There's always something around you.
Yes.
Just know that we're never truly alone. In a good way. Not in a spooky way.
Makes me nervous sometimes.
People will never take showers the same way again.
Right, absolutely. Carol, I'm getting a mother figure for you.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, she's coming in really strong. Is this your mom?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Getting the number 77 with her.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also the name Alice.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
She's showing me like having a tough time breathing or something to do with the chest toward the end of her life. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Because she's saying I can breathe now. I can get up. I can do whatever I want. It's just kind of like jumping jacks almost. What she's showing me.
Wow.
She said, keep on writing those lists.
Writing a list?
Yep.
Okay. I'll figure that out.
I don't know if you're a list taker or not, but I'm just being shown writing in a book.
Oh, just began, actually.
Oh, you
that's
just
cool.
began. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, you're writing.
Okay.
You're writing a book. Is that?
No. I'm just writing in a book. Just writing things.
Okay.
Writing
down,
things
yeah.
down in a book.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's
So
a good
she's
idea. Then
just-
stick with it.
Yes.
That's interesting about the 77 because the 7 keeps coming up. Everywhere I look, there's a 7.
That's
And,
your mom.
The breathing is I hold her hand, yeah, it was a tough ending.
Yeah, well, thank you for the call.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
I do kind of feel sometimes like I'm the jerk though, because I'm trying to cut people off so that we can get through everybody. It's like, here you are having this amazing connection with your mom, but we have to go, and people have been waiting so long to talk to hear from their loved ones, and I almost feel like I'm being the operator. 5 more cents, please. But of course, if they want to have a longer connection, they can of course get in touch with you guys, and you'll be glad to do that. And also, we did have a question in the chat room. I had mentioned before about how people getting a reading tonight can go back and review the audio and video recordings. And this person wants to know how you feel about somebody recording a reading with you if they have one-on-one.
I allow digital recorders. I don't allow video cameras.
Yeah. Any type of recorder, it doesn't matter. I do tell people a lot, though, even though you do record, Spirit sometimes erases the tape, so don't be surprised.
That's happened before.
Yes.
I'm sure
Now,
you guys have dealt
have
with
people
that.
recorded audio from a reading and then come back to you and said, I listened back to it and some EVPs came through?
No one has. No. I've never heard anybody get back in touch with me.
Doesn't mean it can't
But
happen.
most of the people wouldn't know what an EVP would be generally.
They might not be looking for
No,
it.
not necessarily. I mean, first of all, people in the field might get readings from them, but also, it's in pop culture now.
Maybe we should read Mike Markowitz.
We should.
And then he'll go back and listen to the tape.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys just do that?
I just wonder. Yeah. I wonder though if maybe there isn't a need for them to imprint anything on the tape because they're already using you as the conduit to pass on their message.
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
Sure.
So,
maybe you guys should just start recording them, and we'll do some secret George Bush wiretapping on people's readings. Wait till you see what we have on all of you. All right, let's go right to our next call. 508-996-0500 is the number. We have one line open. So if you get in, this is probably going to be the last chance that you're going to have to call in tonight because the rest of the lines are lit up. So let's go to line 4. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Yes, Jean.
Hi, Jean.
Hi,
Do you have
Jean.
a question?
Hi.
Hello. I'm glad I got on. It's my first time, and I've always wondered about this. I was wondering if you could tell me if there's anything coming from some members of my family.
Okay.
Jean, I'm getting a brother connection or like a brother.
My brother.
Okay.
I'm also hearing George or Georgia. I'm not sure if it's...
Mm-mm.
Okay, just hold on to it.
Jean, was it a sudden passing or a little unexpected?
Excuse me?
Was it a sudden passing or...
Yes.
Okay.
Was his left leg affected at all?
Not that I know of.
It doesn't have to be concerning his passing, but just in life, I'm feeling that he's walking a little bit with a limp on the left-hand side.
No, I never noticed.
Okay. Well, I am getting that connection. I know I said George or Georgia, so I don't know if, again, it doesn't have to be something that was recent or something that was to you. It could have been, I don't know if he had to go to Georgia or...
There might be something coming up as well.
Absolutely.
So just hold on to it if you don't understand it now.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night. All right, the lines are full, and we're going to try and squeeze in a few more before the end of the show. I think maybe we can get to one more. So the next call in line is number 2. Good evening. You're on Spooky Southcoast with Tiffany and Stephanie. Can we have your name, please?
Katie.
Hi, Katie. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from someone who's passed.
Is this a brother?
No.
Okay.
I'm getting a male figure, like a father or father-in-law figure. Does that make sense to you?
Both.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. One of them's bringing up the hat. a hat that was specific?
Possibly.
Okay.
That would relate more to one, I think, than the other.
Your father-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay. He's bringing up, is it like a fishing hat?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But not like a typical fishing hat.
All right, but he's just telling me it's his fishing hat.
Okay. Do you have I'm gonna go forward with the brother. I'm not saying that it's your brother that's passed, but is your brother with you tonight, or is your husband's brother with him?
No. My husband has a brother, but I don't.
Okay, that's fine.
Kitty, do you understand the name Dave or David?
That's my husband.
Okay.
Dude, I swear to God, Moniz just typed it, but we have to reiterate over the air. They can't see the chat room.
Okay. Oh, no, I need super-powered glasses.
Yeah. They can't see it. I tried to make it so they could, and they can't see it. So they don't know. I know how Dave's thinking.
Is it someone in the chat
room? We're not tipping him off in any way.
I'm in a totally different room. I can't even see his face.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm saying we're not tipping him off.
Consider that a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Kitty, you can let your husband Dave know. I'm sure I know who it is if I look at the chat room. Or I'll recognize who it is. His father is with him. He's giving a shout out from heaven to him. He is with him all the time. So let him know.
He can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know what's going on. Just let you know what I'm getting.
All right. He'll have his chance to let you know firsthand.
I'm sure.
Coming this
I'm
weekend.
sure.
So. All right. Thank you, Katie.
Fabulous. Thanks.
All right. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, we have to reiterate that. We did not give any indication of who that was. Okay. I didn't even make the connection myself until I heard somebody else. I said that in the chat room. So. All right. I don't know how that was for you guys, but that was exhausting for me. Just to press all the buttons. But if anybody would like to have an opportunity to have a reading with Tiffany and Stephanie, again, if you go to SpookySouthcoast.com, click on their picture. It has all the information, the links to their websites, and how you can get a hold of them. You can also come and get a reading at Fort Taber this coming Friday night if you buy a ticket to our Legend Trips event. It's $99 for the ticket, and it's $30 for the reading. All the information is up on legendtrips.com, and it's also linked up on SpookySouthcoast.com as well. We only have a few minutes left, but real quickly, just tell us your next event coming up.
My next event coming up is Fort Taber.
But after that?
Oh, sorry. It's my Spirit.
It's your chance to promote your own thing.
Spirit Connections Gallery event with myself and Nicole Stevens at my office in Pembroke. It's going to be from 6 to 8:30, 55 Corporate Park Drive. Tickets are still available. You can go to my website at tiffanyrice.com.
Anything coming up at Windwalker?
We don't have anything set right now, but I take private appointments always. Table tipping, Reiki, readings, doesn't matter. So just go to windwalkerhealing.com and you can reach me there.
Definitely private parties and house parties, too.
As well.
That's what
yeah,
we do.
woo, house party.
House party.
All right, and again, I'll be at the Bourne Library at 7 p.m. this coming Wednesday, and at the Wareham Library at 7 p.m. this coming Thursday. Probably drag Moniz out to some of those, too, if he's not busy. But Paranormal 101 in Bourne and Ghost of the South Coast in Wareham. So come to both, because it's going to be two completely different lectures.
And I do want to say one thing, Tim, that Matt and Andy are going to be on Spirit Connections, and you're more than welcome to come and join us, too, this Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Check that right out. Check it right out on Spooky TV, and you can also watch it if you're in the Wareham area on Wareham Community Television. Check your local listings, as they say, and we'll of course have you guys back on very soon because everybody loves having you. We love having you. And next week we'll be back to talk with Jackie Barrett about the Amityville case, about her book, The Devil I Know, written with Ronnie DeFeo. Really, really creepy stuff. You're not going to be able to sleep after it, I promise. I know I won't. So we'll be back next Saturday night. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you Friday night at Fort Taber. But if we don't see you and we're going to see you on Saturday, well then, until then, we want you all to stay spooktacular.
The station the South Coast
Your
turns to
station
for
the
news,
South Coast.
sports,
AM
and weather.
1420
WBSM New Bedford. AM